I'm Albert Gillespie, and I am the current president of the Lubbock Apartment Association. The Lubbock Apartment Association represents and supports owners, managers, and suppliers in the rental housing industry. We have 525 members who manage over 36,000 apartments, single-family homes, townhomes, and duplexes in Lubbock and the surrounding 13 counties. I'd like to start the day by recognizing a few groups of people who have been instrumental in the success of the Apartment Association and this event. So if you are a current or past LAA Board of Director, will you please stand? Don't be shy. There they are. I would also like to recognize our elected officials, their representatives, and special guests in the room, and thank you for attending today. So will you please stand? Our final group to recognize are our sponsors. You've seen their names as they've been scrolling on both of the screens, and there is a group I'd like to give a special thank you to, and that is Title I, Lubbock Association of Realtors, Atmos, Star Care Specialty Health System, the Lubbock Firefighter Association, Reliant, and Cantex Roofing, Construction, and Glass. Thank you very much for being our top tier sponsors today. This event wouldn't have happened without you. Thank you. As you may know, the State of the City Address benefits a charity of the mayor's choice. For years, this event has been able to make donations in the mayor's name to organizations like Family Promise, Scottish Rite Learning Center, the South Plains Honor Flight, the benevolent funds of the Lubbock Fire and Police Departments, and Literacy Lubbock. In the 40 plus years of this event, these donations, thanks to you and the LAA Board of Directors, have totaled well over $425,000. I won't steal Mayor Payne's thunder this year. I'll let him announce who he has selected as a beneficiary this year. So now that all the thank yous are complete, I will ask you to stand with me as the Lubbock Police and Fire Department Honor Guard present the colors, followed by our pledges of allegiance, national anthem, and prayer.
If I could get you to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance, flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I get you to bow your heads with me, please. Father God, we thank you, Lord, for giving us this day to gather together, this opportunity to be here. We thank you, Lord, for the leadership that you have instilled within this city, this county, this state, and this country. We ask, Father, that you would bless this meal that we have today. We thank you, Father, for the men and women who are serving our community, Father, and ask for your hand of protection upon them at all times. We ask, Father God, that as we go forth from here today, that you would give us eyes to see and ears to hear, Father, so that we would represent you and your Son in all that we do. We ask that you would bless this food to the nourishment of our bodies as we call it sanctified with thanksgiving. We thank you for these things, Lord God, in the name of your Son, Jesus. It's in his name we pray. Amen.
All right, everyone, go ahead and have a seat. Thank you, Judge Freitag, for leading us in the pledge and the prayer. And thank you again to Jaylee Gandy for the music today. Let's give them another round of applause. Now, will you please join me in welcoming Mayor Trey Payne to the stage?
I'm going to raise this up just a bit. All right, this is not working out the way I thought with this microphone, Albert. Can you hear me? All right, good. Well, you know it's a good day when you start off and your wife tells you, you look really thin in that suit. I mean, I started off the day really well with that. So thank you, honey, for that. Appreciate it. Well, as I was so introduced, my name is Trey Payne, and it is my honor to welcome you to the 42nd Annual State of the City Address, hosted graciously by the Lubbock Apartment Association. I want to really thank you for being here today. There's a lot of thanks that go into these things because there's a lot of work that goes into these type of events. So thank you to everyone that was involved. As you all know, it's a really exciting time to be in Lubbock, Texas. And I think we're going to have a really good time here for the next 45 minutes, going over some great things happening and having a little fun. But let's keep in mind, and I want you to keep in your thoughts and prayers everything that's going up north in the Panhandle. To this point, we have sent 2 trucks that will be in Stinnett that are headed that way now from LFR, thanks to Chief Ogerson and everyone working diligently to help up north. And we're going to do anything and everything we can to help those communities because those are our brothers and sisters up there. And so keep them in your thoughts and prayers. I think, as Chief said earlier, we're at the end of the beginning. All right. And so this is a fight that's going to continue to work through this weekend. So let's pray for moisture, rain, and that the wind will die down. So, but to more serious things, this is my second and final State of the City. And this is a wonderful tradition. This lunch is probably, I go to a lot of lunches as a mayor, as my former mayors who can attest, there's a lot of functions and lunches. And so I would say that this is probably like in my top 100 lunches. Maybe 90, 91-ish, just a lot of fun for me. I get really nervous talking in front of people. It just makes me so fearful, and I'm just terrified every time I get in front of crowds. I've been that way since I was a child. But the thing about only serving in 2-year terms of office is when you finally think you've got the hang of things, it's about time to leave. And that really happens to me a lot. I don't know if you know this about me, but I've had a lot of jobs over my life. I've worked in a lot of different areas. And I've had a lot of jobs for, 2 years or less. For instance, I was the hot dog guy for 1 season at the Lubbock Crickets games before they packed up and left town. At one point, I was working parking control at the Lubbock Coliseum, and one day I showed up and it was just gone. I mean, literally just gone. And I was just getting the hang of it, and then nothing. I don't really know what happened. Last summer, I spent my time working the rides at Joyland. I was getting really good at that part where you can make the kids really dizzy and throw up, and all of a sudden it's just no longer in existence. I think my favorite job was I was the lead putting instructor at Putt Putt Golf. It's all in the hips. Rest in peace, Carl Weathers. Some of you may not get that joke. But anyway, back in 2008, I was working at the Strip, and suddenly there was this vote in 2009, and all of a sudden the lights are out. I was told that I once worked a weekend at Cowpokes as a bouncer. but honestly don't remember a lot from the early 90s, and sometimes I prefer not to. Some of you know what I mean. So yeah, I've worked at some really classic places, such as the city of Lubbock now. And while I miss them, let's also remember the state of the city as we move forward is welcoming these unbelievable and amazing businesses that continue to move into our city and make us grow. It's a really cool time to be a part of Lubbock. And so what I'm looking for when I'm done is just a nice, steady job that's kind of comfortable and a little bit less stress than this job. And Mayor, I make a comfortable living. So next week, I want you all to pray for me because I'll be interviewing for a job at LP&L. Yeah, Harvey, I see you. I'm looking at this official power supplier gig, so I'm kind of hoping it works out for me. So y'all keep me in your thoughts and prayers. So anyway, you know what I'm talking about, Joel. So I'm here at my second and final State of the City. Next year, I'll be sitting with you, not laughing at bad jokes, wondering if whoever the mayor is next is going to get that mattress by my dumpster picked up by next week. What potholes will be fixed. And 2 years ago when I started this, I was really young and full of energy, and I didn't have as much gray hair. Now I go to sleep thinking about the bond ratings. I start sleeping and, waking up at night thinking, can I actually go to these splash pads we're building? Does anyone want to see me there? And then fearful of elevators, so wondering if they're actually going to work at Citizens Tower tomorrow. I just don't know. I don't know a lot of things, and I hear what you're all saying about me, McDougal. Yeah, that means you. They say, Mayor, you're old news, right? It's time for a change. And to them, I say, yes, you're correct. It's time for a change. But I did. I announced last December that I was not going to seek re-election. I thought it was important to let people get ahead of this and run for this position in our city. And so I knew I wasn't going to seek another term. After a lot of deliberation, Heidi and I came to that conclusion. But you know what? Things have really, really changed since I made that announcement. I'd like you to take a look.
Man, who's it this time? Gotta be kidding me. Again? Who is it this time? Gosh. Last year, I showed you a day in the life of a mayor, and it was great. But things have really changed since I announced I wasn't running for a second term. Matthew.
Yes, sir.
Can you get me a meeting set up with the city manager this afternoon? I need to get him on my schedule.
Yes, sir. In a minute. Short timer.
It didn't used to be like this. It's almost as if something happened overnight.
I can get this. Mayor's office, this is Mayor Robertson.
Is this what it's like for all outgoing mayors? I don't know, maybe I announced too early that I wasn't going to run again.
It's okay. It's okay. We've got this. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. We got this.
I mean, nobody is showing up to my events. Thank you for coming to Career Day, and at this time, I'd be pleased to take any questions.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Can you tell me when we're finally going to get Broadway paved?
Any other questions? I thought Career Day was mandatory.
Mayor Payne, can I have some more coffee, please? Mayor, I really miss these.
No, you don't.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
All right, Mayor, hear me out. Lake Henry Allen. What do you think?
That's got a nice ring to it.
Let's give it a try.
I get the feeling that people think I'm old news.
Excuse me, sir. What are you doing?
I just work here.
You do? Do you have any identification? Yeah, we know who he is, but who are you? Do you have any ID?
I do.
Whoa. We're going to need some backup.
Nobody's taking my calls.
Now, since he's here, let's go ahead and open up the phone lines, text line. You can always call or text at 806-745-5800. Anybody there yet, Tony? Anybody out there just want to say goodbye even to Mayor Trey Payne? Anyone? Phone flashers not going off. Should we go to commercial break? Okay, let's take a break.
But you know what? There isn't a more rewarding or satisfying job than being mayor of Lubbock, Texas.
Okay, I guess we'll invite him over. Since you want to, we will.
Let's do.
Okay, let's do.
It's been nearly 2 years, and I am so proud of the impact we've all made. I've met some great and incredible people, and I know that I'm joining a great group of former mayors who have put Lubbock on the right track. After all, there's no better place in the world than Lubbock, Texas, USA.
You sure lucky. You look like you could use one of those.
All right, thanks to my the cameos and my acting staff, my executive producers over here at this table. Thank you all. Yeah, thanks. Great job. It's been an honor of my lifetime to be mayor of this city. I want to thank a few more people that didn't get thanked earlier, and that's number one to my wife over here. Thank you, and I've got all my girls here with me today, and I've got a new son-in-law right here on the front row, so thank you all for being here today. Thank you to my council members, Jennifer, Steve, Sheila, Christy. Thank you all. Thank you for being here today. Thank you so much for all you do for our community. Appreciate it. Yeah, let's give them a round of applause. It's a very thankless job. We know that much. And again, thanks to the Apartment Association for putting this on. So this year, we have an incredible selection for the recipient of the benefits from this luncheon. This year, Heidi and I talked about this. Last year, we had Meals on Wheels as the recipient, and this year we have High Point Village. Yeah. Clap. More clap. Yeah. If you don't know anything about High Point Village, you need to become aware. They are an incredible organization. They play where individuals with special needs can live, learn, work, worship, and achieve their full potential that God gave them. So could not be more proud of this organization. Deborah and her team are here. They do great work, and we're excited that they could be with us today. So thank you very much. Yeah. And lots of dessert, right? We're going to have to get some extra desserts. Again, to my fellow mayors, former mayors, they've all said this, that's the greatest title you could ever get is former. Thank you for being here. I've got some rowdy judges over here at my judges table. Charles Perry. Charles, thank you for being here. Curtis Parrish and I have worked great together. Thank you, Curtis, so much for being here today. Kelly Rowe, so many other people. I can think probably everybody in this room. I know y'all get tired of that. But we're here to talk about Lubbock. We're here to talk about what happens as we move forward, as Lubbock continues to grow and thrive. And let me say this about Lubbock in this economic outlook and the economy that's going on, not only in the state of Texas, but nationwide. In Lubbock, Texas, we're at 3% below unemployment. Our commercial building activity in 2023 nearly reached $1 billion of new activity. Retail sales were up 10% over 22 into 23. So these driving factors in our economy show overall, and I'm not an economist, but I'm telling you, we overall are a very, very healthy, thriving community. And so as we continue to move forward, we will continue to look for ways to improve services. That's what our job is, to improve those core services, and that's what we worked on. We've got the $200 million street and road bond package from December of 2022 that is in effect. We're moving quickly on that. In fact, last week we had a groundbreaking for Alcove to Upland to Alcove on 98th Street, much needed. We are working in all parts of the city to get ahead of the expansive growth. We've got a transfer station that will be a game changer for solid waste in our community. And we're going to talk about a few of these projects with staff here in a bit. But I think the two words that I would use for this economy in this city right now is, number one, we are strong. We are strong, and we are also very, very resilient. So strong and resilient, I think those are two words that have always described West Texans. We've always had to be strong, and we've always had to be resilient, and that also includes our economy and the state of our city today. We are focused on keeping this city growing, vibrant, and moving in the right direction. And so similar to last year, instead of me droning on and on with statistics that many of my friends out here I'm already watching will scroll on their phones and fall asleep to, you know who you are. We're going to have some people come up that actually run this city and help organize and run this city. As I've always said this, but as the mayor and as this incredible board, we are really that. We're a board of directors. We can give vision, we can cast vision and make policy, but we rely on the city staff and our employees to get these jobs done. And so I think it's important to hear from them. So we're going to bring them out on stage. I'm going to name them individually. Don't throw anything. The first one right up is Joel Ivy. Joel, come on up. Joel is our Director of Utilities at Lubbock Power and Light. And he cannot legally tell you who to pick as your provider, so please don't ask that.
We'll take it from here.
Oh, thank you. Wood Franklin. Wood, come on up. Wood is the Division Director of Public Works. I've got all kinds of things I could say about Wood, but I won't. Colby Van Gundy, our own Ron Swanson, right here, Parks and Rec. He's going to tell you all about the prairie dogs. No. Brooke Witcher. Brooke is an assistant city manager over a lot of departments. She kind of gets to be fun Brooke. She has libraries and Parks and Rec and museums and all these fun things she gets to do. And also, I learned this, you don't know this about Brooke, but as the director and head of libraries, she actually has this database and this little book that tells us who is overdue with their library books. And like, she'll walk around, she'll get you, you better watch out. There's a 50 cents overdue? I don't know. Finally, last but certainly not least, Jared Atkinson, Lubbock City Manager since 2016. All right, you all have a seat. We're going to answer some questions. All right. Got a lot of good information we want to get through, and I'm going to get you all out of here promptly so you can get back to work. So, you know my questions, right? Some of you know what they're going to be.
We think we do.
And some of you are quite uncertain because you don't know what's going to come out of my mouth, right? That's the way we want it. But I think what we'll do is let's just go down the line, and we'll just kind of start with some basic questions. And I think because no one threw anything at you, Joel, let's go ahead and start with you. There's a lot going on at LP&L, a lot going on in our community. So would you start off just giving an overview of some highlights of 2023 and some things that maybe you're looking forward to or that are going on in 2024?
Thank you, Mayor. I'll be happy to. We, as the leader of the electric utility, you might know that having stuff thrown at me when I get up to speak is pretty normal. So I appreciate everybody being subdued and not doing that today, so thank you. The trek that we've been on has actually taken about 10 years. It started 10 years ago with a vision that was created to move our customers from the Southwest Power Pool into the ERCOT market. And I came here 2 years ago from a position that I was really fat, dumb, and happy in. Things were going well, but I saw the challenge that was ahead, the mammoth undertaking that our staff has done. And I just wanted to be a part of that. So I appreciate the welcoming attitude for the citizens of Lubbock, the customers of Lubbock Power and Light. But last year was an interesting year for us. All we had to do was push approvals of a partial requirements power agreement that we had with SPS across the finish line. So we had to take it to the PUC, we had to take it to the federal level, and we thought, great, we're going to be done by May, or by April, actually. Well, that didn't happen. As y'all know, we had to hit a pretty hard stop with that. We took it to the feds, and at that point, we had to have a contest with some folks that wanted to have a vested interest in the outcome of it, but we did get it done. I'm really proud of our staff for really getting that completed. That happened the end of October this past year. Then in December, we actually transitioned the remaining 30% of our customer load into ERCOT without anything going wrong. Again, staff did a fantastic job. I'm really proud of them for that. And then all we had to do is turn our attention to getting into the retail market and getting our customers to sign up with their retail electric providers. Okay, so sounds easy if you say it fast, but we had to pivot because we've been serving our customers for over 100 years and more or less trying to get everyone to take us for granted. We'll take care of all this for you. Now all of a sudden we need you to be paying attention and doing this kind of stuff, and you all showed up like champs. I'm very proud of everybody for that, so thank you. We had a target of 70% of people that would choose their retail electric provider, and we hit about 67% as of February 15th. So great job by everybody. If you did get defaulted, you still got over 90 days to make a choice. I encourage you to do so if you can. Make sure you don't go on a month-to-month agreement, but it was a busy year last year, Mayor. It's going to be a busy year this year, but I just want to say thank you to everybody that participated in this. You all did a great job.
Yeah, that's mammoth. You know, the old saying, you eat an elephant one bite at a time, and we're still kind of chewing on that thing. So you mentioned ERCOT. You know, a lot of questions, these are a lot of questions I get in the community, and so these folks are going to be interested. You know, what we look at as far as the ERCOT grid, you hear that a lot. You see it on social media. When we come into the summer months, give us an update of what you're hearing.
Sure. So it's good that Senator Perry's in the audience because he's been instrumental in pushing some rules and laws, legislation through to help this out. This started with Winter Storm Uri. So legislation was passed that really had us do a better job of weatherizing our facilities. All of our generators, all of our substations, everything that could fail and cause more or less catastrophic outages and whatnot. So that's done. And then recent legislation has made it easier to want to bring more dispatchable resources into ERCOT. That's going to take a couple of years though, because there's money involved with having to build new facilities, and that just takes time. But the legislation is solid, and I think we're on the right path to get to where we need to be. But then ERCOT has already taken steps to make it better. They've got more reserves on hand, the way that they're managing their reserve operations. And then they've also got the ability to call on dispatchable load, is what I'm calling it. So things like Bitcoin mining and large industrial loads, refineries and things like that, they can drop their load and it acts like generation, but in reverse. Yeah. So I think we're all set. You're going to get pleased PLEAS, please, to conserve power going through the summer and probably next summer too, because it takes time. But please adhere to that, because the cheapest unit of energy is the one we never use. So please participate in that. Let's all be good stewards of the grid.
All right, thank you, Joel. And you mentioned legislation. We're very, very blessed out here in West Texas to have a great delegation, especially representing Lubbock. I mean, we got Charles and Carl over there, and so they do a lot of work, yeoman's work that you don't really see. And this ERCOT thing is a big deal, along with water, which we'll talk about here in a minute. Wood, that kind of draws me into a movement towards you in Public Works. Give me a bit of an update. What happened in 23 and what are you looking forward to in 24? Same question.
Sure. These are fun and exciting times in Public Works. Wait,
hold on. Wait a minute. This is not off the script. This is nothing even in my question, but did you just honestly say these are fun and exciting times in Public Works?
We got a lot going on.
That's only an engineer would say fun and exciting when we're talking about electricity and Public Works things. These guys, I'm sorry. My brother's up here and he's also an engineer, so I get it.
And of course that's coming from an attorney, right?
Yeah, well,
so,
my attention, yeah. All right, touche. But my attention deficit kicks in after about 5 minutes, so I'm waiting to get to the next question. So let's get to the fun and exciting part of Public Works.
We got a lot going on in this city. As you mentioned, the city's growing, and it's a great place to live. With Public Works, it involves water, streets, traffic, and solid waste. A lot of departments, a lot of the things that provide the services to all the citizens in Lubbock, and I'm proud to be a part of that. One thing that we've got going on, I'll start with street maintenance and streets departments first. As you're aware, we had our 2022 bond election, and so we have a lot of those projects going on, but more importantly in streets in the Dunbar Manhattan Heights. We've got that project going on. It's about a 2 to 3 year project to get those streets rebuilt throughout that entire neighborhood. I'm excited that we have that going on, and that's taking progress right now, and that's about $5 million of work happening in that neighborhood. Also in street maintenance, council gave us some more cash funded money for street maintenance, which is cash funding is always very good for street maintenance, but we have about $13 million this year. More than we've had in the past few years to do street maintenance and continue on. In addition to that, we have $500,000 to do to add to that street maintenance for work with Inside the Loop out of our Gateway Fund. So all of those projects were currently out for bid. You've actually awarded some of those yesterday, and we'll start seeing that progress happen earlier this summer.
Okay, so let me take some of that engineering wording out of there and the Gateway Fund and all these things. Long and the short of it is we're spending a lot of money on streets and roads because that's what we need.
Exactly.
And when you grow as fast as we're growing, you have to keep up, right?
Exactly.
is that something that just stops? I mean, we can't just stop. We're going to have to continue to move forward with projects like this. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, as Lubbock grows, we have the projects, our capital projects, which is new projects where we build new roads and we build new infrastructure, but you cannot neglect the maintenance and upkeep of all those infrastructure projects, and that's what we have going on with our street maintenance program, and appreciate the increase in expenditures for that.
So pivot a bit on, we talk about construction. We've got a big project. In fact, it was discussed this morning with economic development, but tell us a bit about what's going on with Loprino. I mean, this is a $1 billion project over on East 19th. Give me an update on that.
Sure, as you're aware, we got Loprino going on. It's a project that private company that's creating about over 600 jobs here in Lubbock. We've worked really hard to get them into Lubbock and help our growth of our economy. Big deal of that was water. They, as you're aware, they are the largest cheese manufacturer of mozzarella cheese in the United States and globally, and that takes a large volume of water.
Let's emphasize that one more time, because I think we emphasized this last year, but that's 1 million pounds per day of mozzarella cheese.
Yes.
So pizza lovers out there, this is the place to be. 1 million pounds, right? So what happens when they bring that milk in? What happens with all that water?
So obviously to make cheese, it requires a lot of milk and requires a lot of water. One unique aspect of this business is their water output is larger than their water input. So they're going to be taking a little over 1 million gallons of water from the city of Lubbock for their treatment process and to make cheese. They're going to be giving back more than they take. So they're going to be giving back about 2 million gallons of water that they're discharging into our system or giving to the city of Lubbock. And through the negotiations and getting them here in Lubbock and working with LEDA and economic development, one of the things that we worked out is that they're going to treat their water and they're going to stream discharge that water. So it's going to be good, clean water, about 2 million gallons a day. They're going to discharge that into what we call Lake 6 here in the city of Lubbock. And ultimately that will flow into our Lake 7 for future water supply. So we've negotiated an agreement with them, and as soon as that water leaves their plant and goes into the Canyon Lake system, it becomes a future water supply for the city of Lubbock and the citizens.
And that's what we need. Yeah, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Yeah, water's so important. We've had, lots of discussions and talks about water. We hosted basically a regional mayors and cities and counties and commissioners to discuss water, and Senator Perry came and spoke about that. It's so important. I mean, without water, what do you do? And so, Jarrett, I'm going to jump over to you. Sorry, Colby. Brooke, tell me a bit about what we're looking at for the 100-year water plan for citizens in Lubbock. People worry about it. Should they worry? Is it something that we need to have on the radar?
I think I would not suggest that they worry, but that we be aware of it. And awareness in our part of the world, this is a shout out to prior mayors and city councils, going back into the 1950s. The thing about being able to acquire and ultimately provide water is it doesn't happen fast. It never does. Late 1950s, Lubbock City Councils approved the purchase of the Bailey County well field. We still use that today. We intentionally use less and less because that's water we can hold for the future, but they also bought into this grand new idea of Lake Meredith. And we still have water coming in from that today, as well as the large well field. Fast forward, we have Lake Allen Henry. We move on, we are to the capability now with the retreated water, with what we get from Loprino that is more than we send out, and you're looking at Lake 7. So Lake 7 fills the check register, if you would like to call it that, for how we provide water for the next 100 years, and the project behind it is also in the check register. So long process, it works great. I think something sometimes those of us that have been in West Texas a long time may not realize. Our region, especially our agricultural economy, has been so successful because of groundwater. The advent of high production groundwater for irrigation and for cities and for industry is what drove us. And it's still a resource that's here today. But we may not realize that Lubbock's future for our 100-year water supply is surface water. And some of it, as in the case of Lake 7, is about as close to perpetual as you can make a lake be. So we're in great shape.
Yeah, that's really good news. I think a lot of people have that question of what do you do when we hear smaller communities around us that are not in as good of a position that we are. And a lot of that's you had you got to just be really grateful for great leadership in the past. Always looking forward to water is what we've got to continually do. So thanks for that update. Colby, I'm going to jump back over to you, and I really do appreciate you dressing up today. Man, you look slick, man. I mean, you look nice.
Thank you, sir.
He's a handsome Parks and Rec guy right there. But, you do have, you got a really hard job, but you also have some of the fun stuff at Parks and
Woods
Rec.
Department's not the fun department. We are.
Yeah, that's right.
He may have
When you
fun
talk
about
about
that, but-
exciting,
yeah.
we're not talking about Public Works. We're talking
Depends
about
on your
you,
perspective.
sir.
Exactly.
Tell us a bit about what's going on, and 23 things that you saw and what you're looking really forward to this year.
I think it all comes down to we passed one of the biggest accomplishments for the department was the adoption of our master plan, and that master plan is really going to guide us over the next 10 years about what decisions we make and that. And so by passing that and council putting that as one of the priorities, as the implementation process is where we're at right now, and the inflection of the ARPA funding, the American Rescue Act plan, has put a lot of money into the infrastructure in Parks and Rec, and one of those that probably wouldn't have been able to do without that type of funding. And so we've got 3 splash pads that are coming online. They're on construction right now, which is going to be brand new for this community. They're going to be used tremendously. That's exciting. We have a new pickleball facility that we're putting in at McAllister Park. That's going to be used tremendously. We've also been able to, we've got 12 public restrooms in our park. We were able to renovate or replace all 12 of those through this funding. Another project that we've got going on that will start in the fall of this year is we'll be putting granite gravel walking trails, 2 of them in each council district. And so those were the most requested items in our master plan, and so we're excited to be able to get those started.
Are you going to add any hills in those walking trails, like berms maybe?
There'll be just a little hill. You won't notice it much.
Okay.
We'll notice it as people from West Texas, but our visitors might not see it that way as well.
Well, a lot of people don't know, but we have nearly 80 parks.
Yes, sir.
Right? Think about the mowing that goes on when you have 80 plus parks. I mean, there are cities that have 1 or 2, and very few cities our size. I mean, what was our square mileage? 144 square miles, roughly 144 square miles, and cities our size don't even touch that. So we've expansively spread out. So there's a lot of work that you all do in your department. And how do we keep up? When we look at maybe the older or more developed areas of Lubbock, and then we start looking at Southwest and other places where we're growing, what do we do about parks there? Is there, how do we keep up with all that?
We've got to use multiple tools from our toolbox, and so there's multiple ways that we're attacking this. Our master plan laid it out fairly well for us. We've got a concept that we're working on called Spark, which is a school park. Basically, is the city will go in and be able to put the infrastructure in that facility, and then be able to jointly use those parks with the school system. So I think that's a very exciting one that we're looking forward to getting that off the ground. We're also, the public improvement districts are ones that have our communities in the south and southwest part of the town have really taken to, and those are open green spaces, and so they are providing the need for the green spaces and the recreation amenities for neighborhoods. Of course, we're going to always look to get other parks in. One of the biggest concerns that we have from the master plan came out about our sports facilities, as far as are we going to be able to keep up with our Little League growths and those types of things. And so we've been fortunate this year. We're going to be partnering with Market Lubbock and Lubbock Sports to build a multi-purpose turf facility out the Tom Martin complex there at 1585 in Milwaukee. And so that will be able to help relieve some of the stress on our Little League programs and our tournaments that come in and those types of things. And so it's really about utilizing all the different tools that we can as we can. And so if some parks are available for Parks and Wildlife grants, some of them may be public-private partnerships. And so those are the different avenues that we're looking at.
Well, thanks. That's good stuff. And those are fun things to talk about, right? I mean, pickleball, everybody knows what the kitchen is, right? No? That went really bad, and I didn't even write that. I mean, that just came off the top of my head. That's how bad that joke was. Dotre, where's Matthew? You didn't write that one, did you? Okay, thanks. Matthew, thank you for all your work you did on this, by the way, while I'm giving out shouts out. Well done, sir. That was off script. They're getting nervous when I get off script. Don't do that. All right, Brooke, it's time for you to answer some really hard questions. Tell everybody about your position, what you do, some things you're really looking forward to in 24.
Okay.
You kind of are the
I
fun
really
assistant
am
city
the
manager,
fun
right?
One. That's why I'm here.
All right.
Those that know me know that. Well, one thing Colby talked about was our master plan. I want to hit on our recreation staff a little bit too. He talked a lot about our parks and our park development, some of the projects. But our rec team is really looking at what programs we offer, the structure of our community centers. We have 5 community centers and 4 adult activity centers. Lots of popular programs, but we want to make sure that we are giving our community what they want and need. Senior Meal Program is one of our biggest programs. It is funded through SPAG, so thank you, it's grant funded. And we served over 28,000 meals to seniors last year. So that is free or very affordable meals that are healthy. It provides socialization, so it's a really great program. We also have after school care at the Maggie Trejo Community Center, which is also very popular. But like Colby mentioned, athletics is one of the big things that our community is wanting. And I think your office participates
Well,
in
that's
some
what
of
I was
our
about to bring it up, but it's a
programs.
volleyball program, right?
we have volleyball.
They didn't
and
invite me to play. Thank you all. I know y'all are looking forward to me coming back to work very soon, aren't you? But this is the You've Been Served team over here.
Awesome.
Right?
You've been served. That was a joke. He's an attorney. I'm helping. Jared's
I thought I was
nervous.
supposed to be given the wisecracks up here.
I'm helping.
That was not in the practice, Brooke.
No, it was not.
All right, but again, tell us a bit more about this. Those are fun programs that you are creating.
So this year in 24, we're actually offering co-ed flag football and co-ed soccer. So your table, you guys ready? They're like they're ready. They're gonna participate. Some other fun things that are going on, I have the cultural arts departments, and we're actually very lucky. We're working with Civic Lubbock Inc., a nonprofit that is generously looking at purchasing some public art to add to the city's art collection, which is exciting. The museums have had over 23 exhibitions this year and visitors from all over the world. So it's very exciting. For 2024, you ready? It's the Buddy Holly Center's 25th anniversary. So I'm really excited about that. And the 50th anniversary.
What'll be the day?
September, Jackie. That'll be the day. Sorry.
What'll be the day of?
September 9th is when I think we open.
That'll be the day, September 9th.
Yeah. Look for the programming and special merchandise, and then
I'll be here all week, folks.
all week.
But just until May or June.
And then it's the 50th anniversary of Mahon Library, so we're very excited about that as well.
So you talked about Mahon Library. Things have changed, obviously, with books and libraries. What are you all looking forward to? We're not staying stagnant on the changes. What are you doing to meet the needs and ever changes of libraries and usage?
I have to ask my boss. Well, first, I do have a list of all of you that have late fees. But a couple of years ago, we actually got rid of the late fees. So we don't have fees anymore. So that's one thing. Yeah, he didn't know that. We are really, last year, our circulation went up 33%. Are you listening?
33%.
Yeah, 33%.
I got distracted. Hold on.
Circulation.
Wait, back over here.
So those materials aren't just books anymore, and I think that's something important to say. So we have computer tablets, ebooks. Our digital collection has grown 50% in the last few years because everyone's using e-readers, tablets. Another program that Hannah Stewart is our director, she's amazing, brought forward last month was our mobile library. Have you seen it?
Yes.
It's on Facebook. Everyone check out the video. It's awesome. So they're bringing the vans to the community. We'll be going to special events, assisted living facilities. It's a way to get education, knowledge, books out to the public when they can't come to the library. So it's exciting.
That's good stuff. Thank you, Brooke. She really is a lot nicer to me in private than she is in public, and like meetings and stuff. Thanks for that. All right, I'm going to turn it over to our heartthrob of last season. The writers wrote that part too. Jarrett, you got to come back this year and be on the panel, so congratulations. But you're there in the management. Tell us some things overall. I mean, we've got departments, but things that you actually were really excited about in 24 and things that you saw in 23 that are relevant to this crowd.
Yeah, glad to do that. A lot of this has already been covered, and Mayor, you led in with it. The state of Lubbock in general, I would put against any city in Texas. By definition, that means any place in the United States. We're good. We're doing so good. You talked about nearly $1 billion in commercial valuation. That was a record year. It was a record year. We've seen single-family development slow a bit. It's to be expected. That's entirely the interest rate environment. It's not in our control. It will change, and it will come back in our favor. Talking to our development community, they will accelerate back to at least where they were, if not much greater, very, very quickly. So we're good with that. Council has supported us with a lot of efforts to do different things. We're like any of the larger employees, 2,154 employees. Sometimes it's hard to get people hired, and COVID didn't help us with that. As we've gone through the last 2-3 years, we've knocked 4 full percentage points off of the vacancy rate at the city. Lubbock Fire Rescue is at 100%. The police department, if you take out the brand new officers that were added in the budget, if you pull those out, we have 15 total law enforcement vacancies. We're now able to hire. Council has supported our employees. We've been able to do very, very generous raises, enhancements to city benefits, and in the long run, that benefits all of us in our private lives as citizens of Lubbock and as people who live and spend money here, and we pay taxes. Citywide, we're down to about 7% vacancy. That sounds high, but start reading the papers and look at what's going on around us. Every city over 100,000 in Texas, to my knowledge, is still double digit on that. We've expanded programs to bring high school people. So we started last year what we called a field apprentice program. We had a simple idea. Not everybody's going to go to college, and that's not groundbreaking. But maybe the city has something to offer in the way of a career that people that are 17, 18, 19 years of age may not be aware. We did that. We brought in about 27 of those people. They spent one each of 7 weeks in the summer going out and actually doing what our people do. Selfish goal in that, I wanted to hire them, and we did. We were able to hire 9 people out of that. We've lost one, we've got one teed up, and then we have just hired one that graduated or is about to graduate and said, I worked in that department. It's the fleet, if anybody's interested, and I want to go back to that. We're going to do that program again. We're going to do the same thing with office work. We do that, everybody that participates get paid. We actually pay them in those old-fashioned check things because that means I get to hand it to you. And when we hand it to you, you get the chance to talk to people that they spent that week in the field with and try to teach what's the difference between a job and a career. What kind of opportunities are out there? It's been a great program. We very much appreciate the mayor and the council funding that for us. I've got it funded for 2 more years, and we're going to keep doing it. That's just one of many things that we've done. Sales tax last year was great. Great the year before, great the year before. It's become a broken record. May slow down a bit. It's not something to worry about, not at all. This is the right place to be, and we're going to keep going.
Well, and I agree with that 100%. There's been some programs that you don't even know that have been implemented in the last year or so, some CDL driving programs, work programs, and have won some very nationally recognized awards for things that are going on here in the city of Lubbock. And those are really great things. And so that's a tribute to our staff. And I didn't say it earlier, but I would like to take just a brief minute. If you were forced to come to this lunch to listen to me talk because you work for the city of Lubbock, would you stand up?
Can we stand up?
Stand up, come on. All right, come on. There's a lot of, yeah. Thank you all for being here today, and thanks for what you do for the city. Everybody here appreciates that, and it means a lot when everyone comes here to listen to me talk because Jarrett told them to. One of the things besides the economy I want to kind of briefly focus on with you is public safety. You mentioned it. You talked about our 100% rate with LFR, and we're very close with the LPD. That's been a priority of mine, as you knew, as us getting there, and the council made that a priority with pay raises and things of that nature. But one of the things that I would like you to just briefly talk about is the Hope Center. Where are we at on that? That was a countywide project. We worked with the county, but that is not only going to be good for us in some areas of mental health and other areas, but it also will be really good for us as a community in the public safety area.
Yeah, it's going to be great. We have the pros in the room that are involved in that. I'm going to do the amateur version.
That's me.
The Hope Center, years past, you may have heard us call it a diversion center. It is a diversion center. It now has a real name, the Hope Center. It's a cooperative project. City of Lubbock, Lubbock County each put up $3.5 million out of the American Rescue Plan Act dollars, so they're federal grant dollars. And it's to build a facility that does not exist today, not just in Lubbock, but really not anywhere close. In its simplest terms, this will be a location staffed by mental health professionals to provide law enforcement, to provide EMS, to provide friends and families, a place to take somebody that is having a crisis at that moment, get them right in, right there, be with those professionals that can talk to them, help them work through that. I say we don't have it today because the system that exists now, often people that are in that position, they're either going to end up in an emergency room or they're going to end up in our county jail. Not either one of those might be the best way to do that. This facility's the best way to do that. So StarCare is our lead agency. West Texas Mental Health Collaborative is the group that kind of oversees that as the steering committee. I believe a groundbreaking now, Mayor, has been scheduled for later this month. And I apologize, I don't have the date to head, but it's coming. So that is going to be great. Some of us have had a chance to go around and look at the very few that do exist in the state. We don't have it, we need it. And with the cooperation of both the city and the county, we're going to have it.
Yeah, that's really good stuff. Thank you, Ms. Patterson-Harris. Just while you're on public safety, can we've had a wonderful man and a wonderful leader as our interim police chief. So we appreciate everything he's done for our community. Moved his wife out here to West Texas for a short period of time. We're not going to keep him, but tell us where we are, an update on police chief search.
Glad to. Chief Russian is here. He's back over here to my right. Greg Russian's done a phenomenal job. Not ready to give up. Some of the bids we've got out for the kidnapping haven't come back in. If they're affordable, we may do that. But in all seriousness, where do we stand on that? We are in the midst of a huge recruitment effort to bring our next police chief. So where that stands, we will do the first review of applicants next Monday. That's done internally. I'll work my way through that with some of our team here. Ultimately, as we get down to those people that are the finalists, they're going to be presented to the community, to all of y'all, to have a chance and to give us input and to ensure that we have that next leader that we need to take us forward.
All right, thanks for that update. I'm probably going to go back to the fun and exciting Wood. I've got a few more questions and we're going to let you all get out of here. Wood, what are we doing downtown? There's a lot of things going on downtown as far as development, but what are we doing as far as the public works perspective to make it ready for redevelopment and continue towards that goal?
Again, more fun and exciting news going downtown. We have a lot of development occurring, a lot of redevelopment occurring downtown, and you cannot have that without the proper infrastructure to handle that development and those additional people downtown. So one of the things that council in the past have done before, we have previously already replaced the large water mains downtown to provide additional water flow and also fire flow for the structures and all the redevelopments that are occurring downtown. That was completed in around 2010 and about $10 million worth of infrastructure improvements in the water system downtown. Currently, right now, we're doing about a $7.2 million project to improve and upgrade the sewer infrastructure. Not exciting news to everybody, but it is to an engineer, and it's very important. You can't have a development without sewer lines and going on. So that's going on right now. It's currently under construction. LP&L is doing some improvements downtown, working on replacing the street lighting to LED and getting that going on. I think they're going to replace 161 heads downtown and kind of bring the LED lighting to downtown, which improves the safety and encourages pedestrian downtown in in the downtown area. You'll see every first Friday of every month, there's some excitement that happens downtown over in the Arts District. And so
Wait a minute, hold on, wait a minute. This is not your area. You don't get to talk about actual fun things.
No.
No, you talked
Stay
about
lane.
the sewer
I'm
stuff.
gonna stay in my
Hold on,
lane.
wait.
I'm
Let
gonna
me
tee it up for
let me jump over to Brooke real quick because that's you didn't. I mean, that was.
But
you
have to have the streets in
Yes,
with
sir.
that. So
Yes,
what
that's
I was
right.
going to hit on, I'll leave Brooke to do the art stuff. But with that, we got to have the streets improvements going on. So we have a capital project scheduled for next year to improve the streets and rebuild those streets downtown in the Arts District.
He memorized that answer, so he had to get it out. You notice that? That's the engineer. Like I memorized that. I'm going to say it. Brooke,
Yes, sir.
if you've lived in Lubbock a long time, besides the first Friday Arts Trail and other things, we kind of forget all the things there are to do here, right?
Yes.
We do. There's a lot going on. So if I'm going to tell one of my daughters, hey, you're going to go out on a date, this is a cool thing to do, give me some ideas on some fun things to do.
Okay, ladies. First, you all have fabulous shoes on today. I would tell you to take your friend to the Silent Wings Museum because I know that your great-grandfather, his grandfather, served in World War II. So then you could show your friend that you come from a long line of brave servant leaders, right? Then I would go to the art trail. Listen to some live music and have some fun.
I don't have anything to do with your pay raise, but thank you. That was
You're
very
welcome.
nice of you, bro.
I had to make up for correcting
Don't forget
him
that
on the
museum is
feet.
out there, right? I mean, that is
Yes,
that
it's
is
an
really cool
amazing
stuff.
museum. So please, if you haven't been to the Silent Wings Museum, check it out.
All right, and you're right when you say you take your friend out there. All right, friend, keyword. Joel, a couple more questions here. I do think this is relevant. What are we going to do with LP&L? I mean, that's a short question. What does this look like moving forward? People ask that question.
Okay, thank you for that. So LP&L is in really great shape. We position ourselves for success for the future. We've created a strategic plan based on 3 pillars of success. We're in a new peer group in this market with Encore, Centerpoint, AEP, and TNMP. That's the people that we're going to be comparing ourselves against. So our 3 pillars of success, we want to drive our race down to the middle of that pack over the next 5 years. Right now, we're towards the higher end. We want our debt to asset ratio to be below 50%. Right now, we're at 57%. And then we want to start looking at modernizing our grid because I know that we can kick those guys' butts with our reliability here locally in Lubbock. And so we're going to try to drive our reliability, the outages that you all have to see periodically, we want to drive that to be best in class. So honestly, I think LP&L is positioned to be extremely successful going forward.
That's good stuff. Thank you very much for that, Joel. Last question, maybe. When you talk about pickleball courts, because I played it for the first time in December, where are those? You said McAllister?
McAllister, yes, sir.
All right. So when will that'll be the day those are done?
They actually started moving dirt just last week, and so we'll by hopefully the fall, late fall, early winter, we'll be up and running.
I mean, you all can't imagine how many people ask about pickleball. Are you one of them? Raise your hand. I'd love to. Look, there's 4 or 5 in here. It's like sanitation problems. You think it's thousands of people that have problems. Really, it's the same 4 or 5 people. And I could name them and give you their email address if you would like. Wait a minute, I am short-timing it over here. Former mayors, that's right. All right, well, I still have a couple of moments left to give you back so you can get back to work. We have work to do. You don't just stop because there's a new council coming in. We don't stop work and the city does not stop moving forward because the new council is moving. So we promise we're going to continue to work all the way up until our time is complete. I want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much for being here. I know this means a lot to our friends at High Point Village. Let's give them another round of applause. You guys are awesome. Y'all are my favorite guests ever. Yeah, and you get a second dessert. Yes, you do. So with that, I again want to say thanks for my family being here and all my friends that showed up, and I will bid you good day. Have a great, blessed week, and keep praying for North Texas and the Panhandle.